In 2025, I was one of those people that said rideshare, gig economy in general would be dead for most drivers. But, and I said that from 2025, so that would be right at 2030. But I didn't mean necessarily everywhere. When I said, because the automation's here, we already know that. We pretty much all know that. I'm surprised there's a few passengers that don't know this because they're not like paying attention. But the automation's here pretty much now. But in 5 years, I specifically think it'll be in every major city. It's just like the Uber rollout. When Uber rolled out, it was in New York long before it came to Connecticut. Long before. Like years. So now, to be more specific, most human drivers, rideshare drivers, and delivery, I will say we could go maybe 5 to 10 more years in the smaller cities like Connecticut. I mean, smaller states like Connecticut. Sorry. So, what does that mean? Gig economy is not going to be necessarily dead for a while if you're new to this. Especially on the delivery side. They're not going to be able to come up with a robot that could do every kind of delivery or shipping, especially medical deliveries. So I still think there's room to grow if you're staying, especially on the delivery side. There is room to grow, in my opinion. So, I built what I call a family LLC on the back of doing Uber and Lyft. I don't do deliveries, never got into it. Not saying I won't, but I've never gotten into it. And I see now that I can no longer just rely on Uber and Lyft. So I started renting rooms. I started doing affiliate marketing online. And now with the Family LLC Club, I have my own product. So you see, even though gig economy, rideshare is not dead necessarily, or is not going to die for the driver, maybe 5 to 10 years, it is slowing down. I wouldn't say it's oversaturated. Some people would say it is, but I'm not saying it's not too oversaturated where you can't still make money. But it is too oversaturated in a way of you can't make the big money anymore, in my opinion, unless you're doing 5 to 10 different apps. My experience as just an Uber driver, you're going to get out of it what you put in because the money is volatile. If you work 3 hours today, you're not going to make necessarily the same as you made yesterday doing the same 3 hours. You might have to do 4 or 5 to get the same pay. That's what's changed a lot. You got to drive a lot further because they're not paying for these long pickup times where they used to, if you remember. They used to give you extra for the long pickup. Now, Uber doesn't even care about that at all. Lyft kind of gives you a little bit extra if it's a longer pickup. In my opinion, I only enjoy driving Lyft now because I'm not into all the other stuff that Uber offers, because they lowball all of it. You know, I'm just not interested in doing it. Uber Eats, they're gonna lowball you. I know it. The packages, the pickup and delivery, they're gonna lowball you because they don't know how to charge for delivering packages. So even though Uber as an app, I understand you can make a lot more money than Lyft. Lyft has just made the rideshare experience more enjoyable just by paying a little bit more, $2-3 more. Not a huge difference, but in a crunch when you're trying to get your quota done faster, and for the same ride, Uber will give you $5, Lyft is going to give you 10. It makes a difference. It really does make a difference. And you'll get done to your quota, whatever that is, $100, $200 a day. I definitely think the $300 days are gone unless you're prepared to do all day, every day. You can still make it. I'm not saying that you can't still make it, but even with just Uber and Lyft, I believe you could easily see some $300 days, especially Thursday and Fridays, but you're gonna have to drive all day. That's all I'm saying. Where just 5 years before, you could literally drive maybe 4 or 5 hours. You didn't have to drive 10, 12 hours to make the same money. So the money's, of course, it's a capitalist society. I don't know why we're surprised that every year driver pay goes down, customer gets charged more regardless, and they get bigger cut. Even Lyft, who I like a little better, is on the same scam. You know, even though they're promising 70% guarantee, I think that's just kind of made up, and they're paying us a little bit better than Uber per ride. But we also get a lot less offers on Lyft because they're smaller. Excuse me. But I still enjoy, like I said in my previous video that I did about rideshare, there's still a few customers that make driving the apps make it worthwhile. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. But I'm sure even in your area you can find one or two decent people that you would almost pick them up for free because they're so pleasant. I've got one of those people, elderly lady. Let's just say her name is Mary. And Mary is so pleasant to pick up. And from where I usually am, it only takes me literally like 4 minutes to get to her house. And she's only going like a 4-minute trip. And of course, that's like base pay on Uber, which is like $3.90 something cents. No, not even three. I just know it's like $3.90 something. $3.90 something cents. And it doesn't even matter that I'm not getting paid. Well, I'm always going to go pick her up because she's so pleasant. We always have nice conversations. You know, I think she really was you know, you could see an elderly person, but even though time has changed them a lot, you could tell they were a really attractive person when they were younger. I'm not saying I was like hitting on her or anything like that. I just noticed stuff like that. And you could just tell she was a very friendly and attractive person. You know, the only reason why we might not find her as attractive now is because of age, but so pleasant of a person. And that don't equate to making us any money, but it just makes your day a little bit more enjoyable. And I acknowledge that when I get a day like that, where it's just a little bit more enjoyable. But to clarify, I think we're in 5 years, let's say 5 to 10 years, you're going to see, I would say, the automation everywhere, even in Connecticut in 10 years. And only 5, you're probably, well, you already see it in New York. So that's what I'm saying, we're getting closer. Usually when you see it in New York, it's only a few more years later, and you start seeing it in Connecticut, Mass, Jersey. So it's coming. But I think if you still want to use this as a platform, or gig economy as a platform, like I use it as a platform to what? Start another business. Create future income. So you're not worried about the future as much. I mean, I worry about the future, but not as much because I have a plan. And rideshare is no longer 100% of my income. So I'm already diversifying because I know it's coming. And this is a great part-time for me. It's still enjoyable part-time. I can't see doing it full-time anymore, driving all the way to New Haven all the time, stuck in traffic. Those days are gone. But it's still wear and tear on my car. It's just slower wear and tear, you know, because I'm driving a lot less. But it's killing my car. This car will probably be, I probably will trade this in when I'm ready to upgrade, and it won't be worth anything. It'll probably be, you know, just enough to get, you know, maybe $1,000 value towards whatever I'm getting, you know. And I'll probably still owe something on it. A part of my plan idea was maybe to pay this off 100%, get some business credit, pay this off before I trade it in. I could go that route and continue to use this because it does do the job around town. Continue to destroy this, buy the upgrade, but don't use the upgrade for rideshare. That's plan B. Don't use the upgrade at all for rideshare. But I could use it for like private deliveries or private rides because they pay better. So I'll probably get something bigger, a van, minivan. But I won't be wearing and tearing it every day. That'll be like, you know, maybe 2 days a week of use. And then continue destroying this car for the everyday, you know. And I can still do small deliveries with this if I get into like medical deliveries. So I'm still diversifying. I'm still thinking about other things I could bring in to make more money. And I'm still expanding the online space. So if you're interested in getting in the Family LLC Club, there should be a link somewhere. YouTube might be trying to hide it. Or just go to my name, WilliamBlandon.com. And it's less than a cup of coffee a day, $27 a month. And you could just go with me on this journey. I will be sharing lines of credit I get in the future, possibly grants that I might get in the future. So we will be showing that stuff. And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, again, I don't think rideshare or gig economy is dead yet, but I extended that 5 years a little longer because I realized that it's not going to be automation all at once. You know what I mean? It's going to be slow moving. But in 5 years, every major city, you're going to see some type of automation if you don't already. You know? And it'll take a while to get to the smaller towns within your state. But it's coming. You know, just get prepared. If you're in a gig economy, this is what we're talking about in the Family LLC Club. We're not specifically talking about just rideshare as a means to fund your Family LLC. The online game is the future. And we know with the online game, we're going to have to incorporate AI tools and social media. But that's fun to me. It was something I was already doing. I was already doing that with the YouTube channel. You got to build your authority now for the future if you want a presence online. And I've done that. I've been on YouTube longer than I've been a Uber and Lyft driver, believe it or not. Not just specifically one channel. I'm saying combined YouTube experience. I've been on here for a good, I would say going on 10 years. You know, I've only been driving for going on 8, I would say now. But the driving is coming to an end for me because I'm not going to drive the next 5 years. You know, realistically, I see maybe, I could say possibly this year, depending on how fast we could get my new LLC with some funding. It could be possibly this year could be it. I may do like 2 days a week going into 2027 maybe, you know. So I'm not all the way out and I'll still have a presence on the app, but it won't be even like 4 hours a day. It'll probably be more like 2 days a week. You know, 5 hours a day, 2 days a week. You know, just for shits and giggles to stay on the app, you know. But I'm just done relying on the apps only when I see a bigger picture coming. But the physical world keeps me grounded, you know, and I know that the online space is not an easy hustle. That's why you got to build your presence now. It's not an easy hustle. I'm sorry, my allergies got me crying. And a lot of my people that I thought were way above me on the online space are struggling online. They're struggling. And they don't have anything going in the real world to even rely on. So I'm thankful to have something to do in the real world while I'm working on the online game, because it's not a long game. My best year was obviously right after the pandemic. I think like 2021, because everybody had money. Everybody don't have money like that anymore. Everybody needs way more trust to buy something from you online. So it's a different animal. You can't just throw out a course with like 6 modules, you know, for $100 and think people are gonna buy it. Meanwhile, you got these gurus out here that are charging like $5,000 and they're struggling. They can't even sell it anymore. They used to be able to sell it for $5,000. Not gonna even say any names, but you can imagine who I'm thinking about. And those days are just gone. You can't do that. You know, people don't even trust their mentors right now because the money's got to be a little tighter. Thank God the gas went down, but groceries are still high. So we can't relax yet. Not yet. So I guess that's pretty much all I had to tell you guys. You can still make some money out there with gig economy, but I say make as much as you can now and have a plan. Start something. Get in a family LLC club and just start building a plan. Every video I'm telling you of a possible plan you can go bring in money outside of just gig economy. So I'm giving you ideas, you know. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for your continued support going forward. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Thank you.